And welcome to this week's The Human Experience. I am your host at True Him, and I would like to say thank you all for choosing to take your time out to gather around with us. You know, if you're new to the human experience, let me leave you a little something about what the human experience is all about. So, the human experience is a endeavor where we allow individuals to get asked 7 questions to help them compassionately express themselves so that you, the viewer, are able to experience the compassion that is inherent within said individual. And um, before I introduce this week's guest, there was something that happened towards the tail end of my last week and then followed kind of into my weekend that I kind of like wanted to get off my chest. I wanted to get my experience out there really quickly before we hear about somebody else's, right? And so last week I had the great fortune of scouting an area to get a memorial put up for over 200 women that have lost their lives in South Los Angeles to as victims of a murder, right? Of a serial murder. And so as we were in this park and we were scouting this particular location, uh, as we were taking pictures of the place, I happened to notice out of the corner of my eye a group of young men going into the back of a community center, right? Now, I was paying attention to this because I was just like, yo, all right, I know there's a bunch of young dudes. They're headed to the back of this community center. One of them got their shirt off. The other one's getting ready to take their shirt off. So I'm like, I know what this is, right? And so as I'm sitting there and I'm watching this transpire, there's a group of older men that are sitting on a bench, not far from there. Then there's me and the partner that I was with. We were in between that, and then there were these young boys up there about to go get it in. So I was left conflicted, right? Because as a person who wants to take a stand and who is taking a stand in the community and wanting to be about bringing about inevitable change within the community and in society, how would I look like seeing a bunch of young men about to go brawl? And I was conflicted because on one sense, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna let them rock out because as a young man growing up in this world, sometimes you just got to get your 5 minutes on, and peacefully and piece it out that way. But on the other hand, it's like I don't want to see someone get inadvertently hurt by me being an innocent bystander, right? So as we were taking pictures and we were still scouting the location, I just kept looking over and paying attention to this, and I was so conflicted because I was like, am I gonna be that old guy that goes up there and like, hey, young man, break all this stuff, break that up, and then get into a tussle with these young dudes? Nowadays, you never know which way is gonna go and how it could go. So then I wound up getting into a fight with a bunch of young people when I was supposed to be there trying to be a peacemaker. So it's like, do I mind my business or not? So anyway, this time happens, and as time transpired, these young dudes, I saw them. They got at least 2 rounds in, and I was like, all right, peace. So we're walking to our next location, and I'm still looking over there because I'm conflicted because I don't know who's holding this spot down. And I see one of the dudes look over here, and so I chucked up a deuce and just kept it holding there. And I saw the dude respond back to me on that, and it was just like, yo, peace and love, brother, peace and love. And so from that moment, I was left comforted because I knew that there was somebody left there facilitating to make sure that this didn't go out of hand, and it was left there on the field. And so that was a lesson to me in mindfulness, right? Sometimes you don't necessarily have to intervene in a situation to be able to ensure that there's a peaceful transpiring of said situation. And so I was just happy to see that these young dudes were able to work their differences out amicably, get their 5 minutes on, and then proceed home safely. Everybody was able to go home safely, and so that was my last week, and I was so proud that just by being mindful of the situation, it was able to not watch something diffuse or escalate into something that was so bad. So That was my experience last week. And this week, experience, we have the wonderful opportunity of having a gentleman by the name of Lamingo Tutwiler. Now, I met this young man inadvertently at a kickball game, and from that, from that kickball game, we were able to exchange information, and we just kept checking in with one another via social media. And I just was like, you know what? I want to get this good brother on and see what he's all about and see what he has to compassionately express to the world. Now, Lamingo was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and moved to Atlanta to study audio engineering. But after his freshman year, he grew to find a love in filmmaking and changed his concentration to media productions. Now, Lamingo has worked and interned for numerous production companies, the shows and movies such as Duck Dynasty, The Neighborhood Watch, Auction Hunters, and the list goes on and on. And Lamingo decided to follow his heart and drop everything, as so many of us do, to move to LA to advance himself in his film career. And after diving headfirst into the film as a freelancer, he realized that the mishaps of the industry and which led him to work amongst his close friends in LA, and they created a social community called the Squad LA. And in this Squad LA is a social community that helps like-minded professionals barter and utilize their resources. So on this week's Human Experience, I would like to introduce you all to Brother Lamingo Tutwiler. What's up, good brother? How you doing?
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Man, I just finished running around trying to find a phone charger so my phone went down. I'm good right now, so doing pretty good. Thanks for the beautiful intro.
Not a problem, good brother. It's well deserved. It's well deserved. And now, I know I read off that intro about you, but how about you let the people know a little bit more in depth about who you are?
Who I am? Wow, that's you know what? That's like probably the most hardest thing to do is just describe yourself. Very descriptive of. I don't know. Just who you are. I consider myself an independent thinker, very humble individual, and pretty much just a people person. I love reading.
If you could speak up a little bit louder or bring your mic a little closer, I think the people are having a hard time.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is it good? Okay. No, I just think I'm an independent thinker, very humble guy. I love meeting people. Some people may confuse me as a social life, but I love to know different individuals and learn their special, unique qualities about themselves. So, I just like to talk. It helps me grow, man. Definitely.
Now, as a filmmaker, are you more so writing, directing, acting? Which one is I guess which hat do you prefer to wear the most?
Filmmaking. Wow. Independent filmmaker. It's a broad spectrum. I mean, where I'm gaining more towards is producing. That's kind of where I want to be. But I did it all from camera operator to film editing, from production coordinating. So the list goes on, and I try to treat myself as more of an asset in the industry that I don't pigeonhole myself in just one specific thing, but I do try to master my skills as much as possible to be just an all-around producer. So producing is mainly my go-to.
All right, I could dig that. And so, with that being said, as a producer and filmmaker and overall social individual, I guess we could go within the first question, which is, what is it that you trust more, your heart or your brain?
Oh wow, I love that question. Watching previous videos, initially, if you asked me a couple years ago, I would say my heart. But as I realized within time, the heart kind of can be a little bit deceiving. So I would say mine. And because I say mine, because I tend to take more of a logical steps into making a decision. I don't let my emotions take control of just going out there and yelling whatever. I try to be principle centered and be balanced in making a decision. So I would definitely say my mine.
And so, in that transition, what would you say had transpired in your life to go from being more of a heart-led individual to more of a mind-led individual?
Um, well, I think that process really was moving into LA. I think naturally, just being a Southerner, um, I always had this I don't know, this innate feeling just to care so much, and sometimes you can care so much that you have this unbalanced misconception when you're talking to others. You may be talking so emotionally.
Once again, we were kind of having a hard time hearing you,
Oh,
brother.
really?
Yeah.
Breaking up? Is it breaking up, or is it just my
It's just kind of low. It's just kind of low. I don't know
Oh, okay,
if
okay.
there's a way to adjust your mic to keep it closer to your
It's probably,
your mouth.
yeah, it's probably coming from the phone.
Mm.
But can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good, good. But for the most part, I think making decisions solely just on my heart and just my emotions. I think coming here in LA and start to realize that not everybody is on this, understand things the same way. So um, I tend to not just go so emotionally and
Mm.
say, hey, you have to feel the same way I feel, but also just give it a thought process to actually feel what that other individual is. Because we come from different places. And it helps me grow, and I think it helps others grow.
Mm. Mm.
So
I
I
hear
think that's
that.
one of the reasons why I kind of transitioned from just being that heart of emotions to just a logical sense.
Mm. I hear that. I hear that. I'm kind of the. It's definitely in this life and day and age. Obviously, there to have a balance is the most optimal, right? And
Absolutely.
I've come to the realization that I like to. There's a statement that I say is like I think with my heart and I act with my brain. You know, so that way I'm allowing what's resonating within my heart to kind of be the intention behind
Absolutely.
developing the strategy to execute that in a most logical way using my brain, right? Because sometimes you
Absolutely.
wonder like the mind be playing tricks on you because it's like, you know, yeah, you may figure out a way to do something and then
Mm-hmm.
you'll also outthink your way of actually doing what it is that is in your heart to do, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I honestly, um, I'll use the Kanye theory,
Mm,
for example. Um, I understand like his a certain perspective of what he's trying to say, but emotionally speaking, it tends not to get over to a lot of people. I don't believe everything that he says is right or I say is wrong, but for people to understand your purpose, what you're trying to say, it's a little bit more how you say things than what you're saying. And sometimes
hmm
those emotions steps in the way a lot because speaking emotionally, sometimes you want to get your point across so much that I guess the whole principle is being missed out because you're so driven on just getting your message out there that
hmm
you forget that you're talking to other people.
Word. And that's a great transition into the next question, pregunta número dos, which is it better to have beauty or be beautiful?
Uh, be beautiful, be beautiful. Awesome. Oh man, come on, be beautiful. I mean,
Mhm.
you get beauty only lasts so long, and it's because of this disease called aging. People,
It's very real.
we all will age at some point, um, but your legacy lives forever. I mean, whatever you put out to the world will last throughout time. And my biggest thing is I want to leave a legacy. For my family name, for my culture, for people to inspire by, not just you know using the aesthetic beauty to
Hmm
advance myself, to personally get me to a certain place. Um, and I think a lot of people feel that way, but I think we're so accustomed to a certain particular thing and what is being propagated in our country.
hmm
So you have this, you have that, you change this, you can do it with plastic surgery and everything goes. You'll get accepted. But a lot of people hurt inside. that's more of the issue. Like, if you really look, even until people really actually see who they are or who they are,
Hmm.
life would be a little bit more better.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, the way I look at it is like when you're being beautiful, when you're being something, right? You're totally encompassing that which it is you're being, right? Whether it's good or bad, but it's like it's that in action, you know. And that's the whole purpose of being whatever it is that you say you're gonna be. You know, that's what makes you real when you are being that what you say you are going to be.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
And
like you
that's
said,
one
real. I,
of
I always joke about this all the time. I tell people, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe your real is not my real, but it's a joking factor because we all internally feel the same way. But our ego
hmm.
pushes us apart. Pushes us apart a lot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so I guess as we talk about being something, right? And when you're being that and you're in action or something, the question I would ask you is, when was the last time you cried, sir?
um, wow. Um, that's what I'm right. I want to say recently, but I don't. Emotionally drained. I think that's a form of crying as well. Um, I think with an age, I try to hide it so much, but um, I just recently got back to LA. I had to go down south to kind of rejuvenate,
Hmm.
and I think there was a cry out, for me. I think um, being overwhelmed, so much work, and it's actually good, but I still need to get a break to kind of regather myself and get a certain balance in my life. And family is always good. Not everything when you go home is going to be positive, but um, you go there with a positive mindset. You just need a shoulder to like maybe cry on, or just to hear you out. Sometimes it's not always about you know talking to people. Sometimes people just need to like hear, just listen. And sometimes and that's kind of where I was in a place when I went home. Of course, my mom is like my biggest supporter. She was my everything. And so when I went there and I talked to her, she gives me that drive and that energy to continue to go on. And I went there to see her in Memphis, went to see my brother, see my nieces, nephews. It it changed my perspective. So as much as I cried out for the needing family, uh, when I went out there, it gave me a good value to bring back to LA. I feel so rejuvenated, um, feel amped. It's just felt like okay, I'm ready to take the rest of it on. So
Mm.
I'll say, was it 8 days ago? So yes, yes, I cried. I cried. So
And in your as you had so aptly put it, your form of that particular form of crying was just like was being able to go out and cry out emotionally, not necessarily in tears, but in
absolutely.
action and going to see one's family and to your soul was crying out for comfort and for understanding and for I guess what a better word would be a solstice of absorption of love. It was crying out for that familial love that could be that is very often times shaded and jaded when you live in a place called Los Angeles, the city of angels, the city of dreams, the city of dream makers. So it's just, and you can fall susceptible to anybody's dream, right?
Absolutely.
Out here.
Absolutely. I would say, honestly, the most memorable time I kind of cried was it was a transition where I was actually in Memphis, Tennessee, and moving to Atlanta. Um, again, it was just so much overwhelmed. And I was sitting in my mother's truck, and I was driving to my brother's restaurant. And I'm in the parking lot. I'm just like, tears are just coming down my face. And I'm like, I don't want this. I
Mm.
think more or less when I see my city suffering a lot, and I feel subjected to the same thing. Like people are telling me, "Oh, people, this is who you have to be, or you have to deal with what's going on," and I didn't want to do that. And that's what gave me that decision to move to Atlanta. I was like, you know what? I can't take the city anymore. I don't know how I'm gonna get to wherever I'm gonna go, but
Um,
excuse me. I'm sorry.
yep, you're back.
And so that was more of this entire. I can really say it gave me more security as far as crying or being
Mm.
um, more involved with myself. Yeah, yeah, that's one day I can remember real tears just coming down my face. I'll never be ashamed to tell it.
Yeah, man. I think it's like one of those things like where people have a we've been kind of falsely led to believe that crying is a form of weakness and that we should hold it in, right? And when crying is actually like a release mechanism. And so
Absolutely.
when we are able to emotionally let that out through crying, and it could be happy tears or sad tears, but if we hold that in, that's where all the sickness and illness comes from, and that's where all the rage comes from. Because regardless, those emotions, it's pent up
Absolutely.
energy, right? It has to get out somehow,
Absolutely.
and so
Absolutely.
that's
I
that
can't agree with
productive
you
way. Hmm.
anymore, man. I mean, we all go through it. We all feel those. We have those feelings all the time.
For sure,
And
for sure.
having good energy around you and good people that support you in that sense is so important. It's,
Exactly, exactly. And I would say that that's what that energy right there is what allowed us to connect that day on the kickball field. Although we
and
were on the losing.
unfortunately, we're not going to say the final results of it, but we had some you know, some
There were
downfalls,
some
let's say.
mishaps. Yeah, yeah,
Little downfalls,
yeah.
but
Word.
it was a good time. Good time. Good time.
Definitely,
Definitely.
definitely. Which we need to do again soon.
Absolutely. I
Very soon.
can't agree with you more.
For sure. And so on a lighter side of things, um, a question I would like to ask you now, Brother Lamingo, would be, what are 3 words you feel you should know in every language? Yeah, those
Love,
3 things that'll get you through in every language, no matter what.
love has to be number one. Um, Communication, um, and care. I think probably, and of course, love, care. I would say communication because even if we have a different language, we still have a standard of wanting to communicate. And we can always, I think being societal creatures, we always have this innate feeling just to communicate. Sometimes we all speak English and we tend not to be able to communicate as much as we would like to or get
Mhm.
our point across or just to really just be on the same playing field. And I think open-minded communication, just even say I want to communicate with a person speaks volume.
Mm.
So
So you
I
said
would just go with those things.
communication, love, and what was the last one?
Care.
And care. Communication, love, and care. Those are the 3 words that you would love to know in every single language. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Because you're all right. You do want to be able to say how can we communicate, and at the
Absolutely.
end of the day, you want the person to know that you do care about them as a human being, no matter where you're
Mm-hmm.
from, and
Absolutely.
love is the thing that unites us all, right? Or we would love to
Absolutely.
think that way, I should say.
Absolutely.
Hmm. And all right, so if those are the 3 words, love, communication, and caring, then what is it that scares you?
What scares me? Um, it's crazy. One of my homegirls, she's an artist, and she she had like these great pieces that she had for this art show recently. And it said, what is one thing that you never want to let go? your childhood memory that you want to keep forever. And I think that would go into like my fear as well, is just to stay free. And I think being free is not just like, not only just I can do whatever I want, but it allows me to be a free thinker, not be so opinionated with others. So if I lose that freedom and that opportunity to just be simply free, um, I don't really know. I mean, even being in captured into proximity where people are just being complacent and doing the same thing, it's kind of terrifying.
Mm.
So honestly, losing my freedom is almost everything. So if I lose it, I don't know.
That would be the thing that scares you the most, using your freedom. I hear that because, there's freedom is a very interesting concept, because there are those that think that because they don't have somebody to tell them where to go and what to do at every moment of their time, they think that
Absolutely.
they're free, when in actuality there is still a box that they live in, because they may
True.
not be free enough or feel free enough to express that love or that care, or to be able to communicate to someone at a time, because they're closed mentally or something like that, where a person who could be locked up, has the opportunity to still express and be free in expression, as opposed
Absolutely.
to someone who's tied up with that. So
No, and I think I I think we take those small words for I think we devalue it now in today's time. I think it's like, oh, I know what free is, I know what love is, but we don't really allow to use those principles in our everyday lives, or we shy away from it.
mm,
I mean, it's a part of who we are to jail in with society, but also allowing ourselves to be able to think freely. Because I honestly, like I tell people, um, no one can just tell me, "Oh, this is this," without me actually doing my research and reliable research to actually prove that theory, and not just saying, "Oh, well, yeah, that is okay." And I think, I think I'm a big person that goes into like redefining words and going back to the dictionary and just like, oh, okay, because we use words and consume it so much that it's not even really the true definition of the word. So, um, yeah, so like I said, be free and be a free thinker.
mm. Yeah, free thought, and especially coming from the South, you have
Uh,
a different kind of
mm.
relationship of understanding of what freedom
Oh,
is, and
oh
and,
man,
and, and when you talk about free thought.
it's a whole historic thing, man. It's real. It's definitely
Mm,
real.
mhm, definitely. And so, okay, so we found out that not being free is what scares you. Now, the next question is, what makes you happy?
It makes me happy. Um, cliche or no, people make me happy. It's just crazy. People kind of make. I mean, it's a borderline thing. You know? Of course, you get irritated with people from time to time, but um, people really make me happy. Um, I learn from people. That's how I gain my intellect and learn from so many different people. And I really want to know the, the true individual every time I want to meet him. If I go anywhere, I'm a very talkative person. I'm very sociable. So if I'm in a place, I'm gonna connect with the person that's almost an introvert or the person who's very quiet or shy. Um, maybe I'll irritate them a little bit, or just just to kind of get them into who they really are. Because I don't think people are naturally introverts. I mean, being societal creatures, I don't think it's a natural thing that we are just we want to be to ourselves. I think those are defense mechanisms to hide us, to cope with life. But when we're really hurting inside, we need people. We need people to talk to, and
Mm,
we need people for understanding. So I love us. I love the capabilities that we have done in the past and future. Not everything that we do is right. I mean, but
mm.
we learn from those things and we take that this technology and we advance ourselves. So,
No, I hear you on that, because I
yeah.
mean, And I guess, you know, another thing that resonates with me, I definitely feel you on that. Loving people, like that being the thing that makes you happy. Because I share that similar sentiment. You know, I love to people watch, and I love observing, and really, if I had a superpower, it would be to be able to read people's minds. Because, and I say that,
Really?
yeah, dude, because I say that because then
The Force.
the force, yeah, and I would be able to,
I'm the Force.
yeah, on some real shit. But I would be able to use that to help that individual become even happier than they already are, right? Because, you know, like you were saying, there's these masks that we all put on, and underneath those layers is a lot of mechanisms that are running that aren't necessarily the truth about what that person is expressing at that moment. So
I think you really, you personally, I mean, as soon as I met you, we kind of connected like instantly. Like, good energy, good spirit, you know, humorous, like good person. Yeah, you who you are, and I love that about people. Like when you who you are, you don't shy away from it. And I think a lot of people may have a preconceived notion. I mean, that's pretty typical. I mean, stereotypes is one of the things to protect us, but in the same sense, we can't feed into it as much as we do, especially in our society. As
very true, very
to
true.
allow people to be who they are, and I think you will gain so much more. I'm from the South, so of course you know, very, very much an opinionated place. It goes across the board, all cultures, all races, all race. Um, but you know, when it comes to a place like California, or whatever, it's a little bit more forward thinking, liberal. Of course, not everybody's like that, but for the most part, people are being who they truly want to be. It's a culture shock. It was a culture shock for me. You know, coming out here to LA and just like, okay, this is a different world. But I had to allow myself to adjust with the culture, and then bring my Southern ways to be an incentive to build on who I am as this person. And I think that gives me so much leeway towards the future that I'm like, oh, hey, I'm here now.
Word. It seems like that.
Yeah.
It seems like that was like a sprinkle of evolution. You know what I mean? Because you keep your Southern ways and Southern roots, and you add on that which it is that you need to add on to evolve that core of who you are. You know, which is evolve or die, as they say, right?
Honestly, I see my 2-year-old niece when I was in Atlanta, and I'm like, wow, like it if we can just really see and understand how people are developing and knowledge they're developing, the capabilities that we can do as far as humanity is almost endless. So even when I seen her and just how quickly she grasps and learned things, it's like, wow. And I seen it only just for a couple of days that I was down there. I don't know. I was just thrown back by it.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And then, and that actually leads to the very last question, which is, Mr. Lamingo, what is your purpose?
My purpose. My purpose is, I think, to connect a lot of people together. I think I'll consider myself a fearless leader, and not just to say I'm a leader because I like to be in charge and I'm a Leo, but simply because I think leadership comes from allowing to put yourself in a grouping, whether it's your family, your friends, your culture, um, country, whatever, and allow that to be bigger than you, and then to actually understand what that purpose is to make whatever life, um, continuation of your family to be well or your culture to be well. Um, you put yourself in a back seat and you allow that unit to build forward or grow forward. And yeah, man, I think I have a good purpose to connect people. So I think that may be why I call them.
Now that's actually that's awesome that you said that, because with that last statement of it being your purpose to to connect people in a way, how about you let people know what the Squad LA is as we talk about connecting?
Okay, the Squad LA www.thesquadla.com. Everybody can visit. It's an interesting thing that came about. It's a social community. Um, but honestly, it came off a joking idea. It was just some of my friends. We started off this group text message, like 15 of us, and I was like, you know what? We do so much stuff. No, we say that, quote unquote, we do so much shit that I'm gonna build a website and put a calendar on it, so we know exactly what we're doing. And so it became interesting because I started building this website, and one of my homegirls, she's like, I need your help with something. I was like, okay, cool. And it was like um, some film work that she needed me to do, and I was like, okay, I'm definitely down for it. And she was like, well, I, I need to see some of your work. I was like, yeah, check my website. She's like, oh, you got a website? Like, yeah. And she was like, I was like, oh, you got a website? And it was more the sense like, we can go out and have a good time with each other, but professionally, we're not advancing each other. We're not even using the skill set and the resources that we have and bartering. And it's like, wow, like we're friends. Like we're like 2+ years in. And it's like, wow, like we're not bringing any value in it. And I think not think what the squad is, but the squad is just bringing a value to people and allow people to actually barter again. It's a lot of professionals that has great ideas, great concepts, and it's hard for them to actually build that together because it takes a little bit more energy. And I think working a day-to-day job, it gets hard to be able to see, to find people, to connect with people in a sense. And it's interesting because we shy away from the people that we're just in our close proximity and that we're close to. And so that idea kind of sprung from that idea. So our first meeting was a website building meeting. And so I was like, okay, if you ever want to get a website, come, I'll build a website. But I'll teach you guys. And it was just bartering time. And so it actually spun into something now. And it's actually grown and we continue to change and readapt to, people coming towards, they're liking it now. I'm like, oh, wow, like I didn't know this thing was going to have this much growth. And not trying to go too fast, trying to have contained growth with what this brand is. And truly trying to recreate it in a more tech-driven portion to really get people to connect. So what we're doing now is rebranding in the sense because we want to put value towards other people and not just us 15 because we just kind of wanted to do something for ourselves. But now that we see value within others and how we know within LA is so many different circles that I think a lot of people are doing incredible things. And I think if we do have this platform to do it in, and the world to see it, we all can win. I mean, it's kind of how it came about. And of course, it's always a day-to-day kind of growing process with it. Yeah, that's definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So if the people, and just so before we get out of here, please, once again, let the people know how they can connect with you, how they can connect with the Squad LA and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Definitely you can visit the website, thesquadla.com. We have our Facebook page, The Squad Los Angeles. Instagram/The Squad LA. Not .com, but Squad LA. I'm not really good at, doing a little Instagram / but yeah, we can definitely connect with that. We're gonna do a lot of social experiences. And definitely would love for, whomever wants to come out and, support and, just meet somebody new. Like that's basically what we're having this platform for is to really have that personable aspect when we're doing these social experiences and really connect with people again. And we're trying to redevelop our online presence to continue that. So it's a lot of work ahead of us. It's a very much a new concept. We're branching off to start a startup, and so yeah, I'm just anxious for the future because we're going to try to extend the most 4 other cities: DC, Chicago, LA. I mean not LA, Atlanta, and New York. Just getting a lot of things internally straightened out as far as our infrastructure, which is going great. But hey, everything takes time, and everything takes that right growth and contained growth. So yeah, we're doing Doing pretty good. I'm proud of my team. I'm proud of the people that I'm with. It's like family now.
Awesome, awesome. I know I haven't had yet to have an opportunity to make it out to one of those Bay drafts,
Oh,
but I'll be there soon because I'm looking for a baby, a baby.
hey, you're crazy. But like, and that's actually two of my homegirls, Jamie L. They that's their pursuit of epicness. It's not really the squad. We were just
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, they're part of the squad, and we had to do some rebranding for them because a lot of people thought it was a squad affiliated thing. But they are members. But that's their brand, and I don't want this to overshadow what they're doing. You can go and visit their site, pursuitofepicness.net. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think what we're doing internally is pretty good. Is making sure we support one another, and just making the room for us and seeing what works for us, what doesn't, and yeah, just seeing growth within all. So definitely.
Word, good brother. Well, can't wait to continue watching the evolution and the growth of the squad as the squad gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I appreciate you, good sir, for taking time out of your day to
absolutely
join us here at the Human Experience and allowing the world to
appreciate the honor.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. And so we have come to the end of the Human Experience, good brother. And I once again would like to wish you off on having a great and continue having an epic life as you continue growing this squad and making your dreams even more of a dynamic reality, and stay being the individual who's led by that purpose of loving people, because that is what the world needs more of, and through that you will be able to open every door that you need. When you have your love of people and they're able to see that first, it causes connections like this. So thank you.
No, definitely no. I appreciate it. Look at the other members. They're trying to leave me.
Oh. What kind of squad you rolling with? You just was picking them all up.
I'm like, where you guys going? But definitely, man, it's always again like any other people that you need, yeah, if anything I can do is support, man. I'm always down for it.
I appreciate that, good sir. I appreciate that, good sir. And so with that being said, I will say deuces to you. May you, like I said, continue having an awesome day. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining the Human Experience this week.
Enjoy the day. The sun's out, man.
Yeah, I'm about to after this now. Work is done. Now back to the play.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you, my brother.
All right. Peace, man.
Peace.
And so I would like to thank you, the viewer, for joining us today on the Human Experience and allowing yourself to sit through and to hear the compassionate expression of Mr. Lamingo Tutwiler, one of the founders of the Squad LA, a communal networking and bartering family who are here to bring people's dreams into fruition. And so check them out. Make sure you check them out on thesquadla.com. And thank you. Get at me via social media at TRUHIM, or you can hit me up at HECA moment at Hecka Moment. And once again, it is through individuals such as yourself that are choosing to tune in and get to know that your voice can matter, and there are ways and opportunities to have your voice be heard. I am a conduit and an outlet towards bringing your voice to the world. And I thank you for choosing to join the Human Experience. Please be peaceful, be happy, be productive, and most certainly be dynamic. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. Deuces.